This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings 8 to 9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you're wondering, this doesn't sound like the normal deep voice of Tom Barnard, you'd be correct, because it is me, Tevin and AJ, filling in for Tom. He is stuck in the parking lot that is known as 394 on his way in, hopefully listening right now and not hating us for what we're about to have transpire here.
He was very adamant, start the show without me. It wasn't going to be like a couple minutes. We'll have to see. Let's really quick. Let's set a line. Do you think he gets here before or after we're done with Judd?
Ooh, I'm going to say before.
I was going to say before
Judd,
too.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be late enough to where we had to start early, but not like we won't see Chris Egert yet.
Oh yeah. This isn't going to be like 9 o'clock and he rolls in. He just needed a couple extra, like a day off.
The traffic out there's terrible.
Oh yeah. It was really bad, but we did talk about this a little bit before the show, because I wanted to talk about how people are idiots now. And I hope none of our listeners fall into this category, but Chase Bank had a free money glitch allegedly from their ATMs.
Do you use Chase Bank first off?
I do not use Chase Bank.
I don't either.
But I might have to if they're just giving out free money to everybody.
So for everybody that doesn't know what's going on, what is this this free money hack glitch that you're talking about?
So I would assume it's a lot of young people because the videos were posted on TikTok, but essentially they were taking a check, writing it for $30,000.
Okay.
Going to the ATM, depositing said check.
Easy enough.
Before the check bounced, because they don't have $30,000, they would take out cash for set amount or whatever, like the amount is that, like, so when you deposit a check, it'll be like, okay, we're going to credit you with $1,000. They would take that out and then the check would bounce. And all these people are videotaping themselves committing check fraud and posting it on social media. And like, they're like, oh my gosh, my account is negative like $31,000. Well, yeah. Because the banks don't just give you money and say, oh, I guess that check was bad. No, like you have to pay that back.
I saw a couple of these after you brought it up, and it's incredible the amount of like disbelief in some people's eyes where it's like, what do you mean I have to give back this $38,000? What do you mean you think you can keep it?
Right.
This is not a video game. We're not playing Grand Theft Auto where you can just do a couple buttons. All of a sudden you have $1 million in your account. This is real U.S. currency. You think the government is going to just when's the last time the government is keen on just handing out money to its civilians?
Right. They keep like, unless it's like COVID, they're not giving you free money. Also, like, that's a felony. Like, you're committing a felony and posting it on TikTok. You got, like, what is wrong with people?
And that's the thing too. You're saying blatantly videotaping. Hi, my name is insert name here, and I'm doing this. Get your money up, fam. Boom, done.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then that exhibit A honor, the defense or the prosecution arrests.
Oh, the easiest. I would love to be a financial crimes lawyer right now or prosecutor for like, all you're doing is, if everybody would take out their phones and go to Charlie XYZ on TikTok and scroll through his page and watch him commit fraud. So yeah, it's according to, let's see here, the Yahoo News here says, a series of recent viral videos have made it seem like people are getting free cash from Chase Bank ATMs after depositing fake checks for large amounts and withdrawing the money before they could bounce. The videos, which were spread across TikTok and X over the weekend, suggest to viewers that this is the new way to cheat a glitch in the banking system. However, in a statement to Yahoo News, a Chase spokesperson emphasized that this isn't a harmless internet trend, but it is fraud, plain and simple, if people act on it. So yeah.
Hey, look at this.
Oh, we were both right.
We were both correct.
Correct on what?
We said that you would be here before Judd was on and gone. We didn't think it would be that big of a delay.
53 minutes. Usually a 10-minute drive. Today it was 53 minutes.
No, boy.
I went by and these cooking.
They should be.
Yep.
Okay, so when I leave pretty much the same time, 7:15.
Mm-hmm.
Get here by 7:30. I'm here a half hour early. It's just wonderful. Everything's good. Don't come running in here with work for me.
We're just helping you out.
Did you do this already?
Nope. We were going to do it for the first break.
Well, how can we just wander away from your debut? reading.
I think you'll enjoy what we were talking about too.
Oh God, here we go. What was it?
Well, are you familiar with the free money that Chase Bank is handing out?
Yeah, but I'm white, so I don't get any.
Oh no, you qualify for this.
Oh, honkies get it?
Yes, we'll go back to the article. A series of recent viral videos have made it seem like people were getting free money from Chase Bank ATMs, but really they were depositing fake checks for like $30,000, withdrawing the amount that they would get approved for or whatever that like the bank would give you right away, and essentially committing check fraud and posting it all over the internet.
So I think the top end of that is what, like $2,000 though. I think.
Yeah. So people would wake up and be like, why is my account negative $31,000? And they're like, oh, because you can't, because you're not allowed to commit fraud.
Committed wire fraud and videotaped it.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's the whole thing is well, there's so much to talk about that. Well, first of all, because I all follow all the DEI rules, starting today, I'm going to just kind of try to fit in with everybody in politics and all the rest of it. So like AJ, did you watch the Twins game last night?
I did not.
Well, they did lose.
Okay.
I think 2-1. Tevin, what'd it be like? Freaky deaky? What the hell is with everybody now trying to go with this black accent deal?
Yeah, well, I like to go to Chinese restaurants and order stereotypical. Yeah.
I want to hear you do that.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Why are we doing this now? It's just no. Tevin, am I wrong? But anybody who sat there and watched that, who might be a little lighter skinned, that seems racist as hell to me.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I'm sorry, I got distracted looking at the Twins scores. They lost 15-0 one game
a couple of days ago. Yeah. 15 to not a very good team, by the way. Like to point that out again. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so just. So what'd it be like, Tevin? Everything out there?
Man. Sorry, this game's still gonna be. But yeah, no, I think the accents. People are ridiculous.
I think you should do a better job of looking very uncomfortable into the camera there, AJ.
Okay. Yeah.
God, did he look uncomfortable?
Yeah.
See, like I said, AJ, I grew up in North Minneapolis. It's part of who I am. It's part of how I grew up. So just like all black people are not the same, all white people are not the same either. And are we ever going to get away from that? Just because of your skin color, you're exactly like everybody else, your skin color.
No, it's more where you grow up. And
absolutely,
if you grew up in, rural Wisconsin compared to downtown New York, you're going to have a different viewpoint and experience in life.
Yeah, it's just not that big a deal. Everybody just back off, calm down, relax, work together. Let's try not harming other people intentionally. What do you say?
Sounds like a plan.
I will tell you as we move on here, because we do have to get going, but I am a bit concerned about this situation because there were 8 emergency vehicles at that scene on 394. It was a 5-car, at least the ones that I could see was a 5-car accident. All these ambulances were there. It does not look good, I'll tell you that. I hope nobody got seriously hurt or, to that point, but I see before we move on to try to lighten the moment, it was a pretty serious crash. So like I said, I got here 40 minutes after I usually get here. So, I mean, it was very, very serious. But once we got beyond the accident, it was wide open.
Yeah.
So, I mean, luckily the last few minutes of the drive was wide open, and all the rest of it on there. But man, I hope it wasn't as bad as it looked. But did you see? Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll hold it up for Judd because Park Tavern, he's very close to them. He likes the people a lot. Well, we all are. We love, like I said, I've been going to Park Tavern in its old location, new location for 50 years, I would guess, 40 years for sure. We'll take a break, be right back. I want to ask Judd a couple of things. Twins lost again last night, 2-1, I believe. Didn't they lose it 2-1?
Yes.
Yeah. What a team. All right, we'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Beer, food, Vikings, and real-life jousting. The only place you can find all these things together is the 2024 Minnesota Renaissance Festival, happening weekends now through September 29th, plus Labor Day and September 27th. And by the way, I ran into a listener, said, Tommy, I bought 4 tickets to go to Renaissance Festival, but I can't go. He gives them to me to give away on the show here today. That's pretty cool.
That's very nice of them.
Very nice of them. So we have 4 tickets to the Renaissance Festival to give away, thanks to a listener. Located at the Renaissance Festival grounds in Shakopee, it's fun for the entire family as you venture around the grounds, finding amazing food and drinks, tons of different street acts, live music, and full armored jousting. There's always something exciting going on. You like to live on the edge? Try your hand at axe throwing, shooting a crossbow, climb on a rock wall, or test your wits in an escape room. It's also perfect for kids of all ages, featuring a petting zoo, various rides and games, along with arts and crafts events. Plus, with over 250 artisans and shops around the festival, you may just find something that scratches your medieval itch. Visit RenaissanceFest.com now for discount tickets, parking passes, and all other information. The 2024 Minnesota Renaissance Festival. Visit RenaissanceFest.com today.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you talk to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support, and to thank you. They're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever. When you use promo code TOM and you get free shipping on your entire order, get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets only $29.98, and take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses and mattress toppers, 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale. From the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb, dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM, and you get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146. Go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Judd joins us, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I got very, very lucky because I could not have done that first bit because of where I grew up had it been like a Norwegian accent. I don't know if I could do one of those because I would say, hey, Judd, welcome. And you go, oh, yeah, welcome this morning. Is it like that? Is it that bad? Oh, yeah, you know, that kind of stuff. Well, we can't hear a word.
Judd, I think your mic's muted here.
You're a disaster.
I am. I muted my mic
Complete.
before I came on, and then I left it muted, which I've done several times, but AJ bails me out again, which I always appreciate.
AJ, you know, now we were talking about how people change the way they speak when they're in front of different audiences. You get the white audience, you talk like this. Apparently for Kamala, you get the black audience. It's, you better thank a union member.
The best was, do you guys remember when Brian Kelly got the football job?
Yes.
At LSU, he left Notre Dame, where, and by the way, he's from like Boston, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he goes down, takes this job, and it's at like halftime of a basketball game. And down there, it's football country. So they, of course, bring the coach out, and he gets a big round of applause, gets the mic, and he talks, my family and I are so excited to be down here. It's like, dude, you're from Massachusetts. You were just coaching Notre Dame, and you never had an accent. My family. Oh, it's the greatest.
Family. Why do they do that? Why do people do that? Try to fit in, I suppose.
Well, but it does. It's just so condescending to the group of people you're doing it to.
Couldn't agree more.
Like, doesn't fit in at all.
No, like you haven't even had time to unpack your bags yet.
Yeah.
And you've adopted this
And plus-
Louisiana accent.
Well, and plus, if you're a coach or a public official, there is, how many hours of documentation of you speaking like you speak,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, my
Exactly.
family and I are so excited to be down here in a great state. It's like, dude, you are such a fraud.
We got to find Tony Joe White. Some of y'all never been down south here too much to tell you a bit about what you're talking about. You can't even understand what he's saying at the beginning of that. It's like Poke Salad Annie. You know that song. You never heard that song?
No, we have. Yeah.
What, are you in a horseshit mood now just because I joked around about having an accent?
No.
You got this look on your face. Doesn't he have a look in his face today? What do you think, Ted?
His look to me looks pretty AJ-like.
Yeah.
He's got that.
No, he's squinting his eyes more than usual.
Just AJ's.
Got that look in his eye.
Got that look in his eye. I
don't think so.
Oh,
The accent that's incredible though is Cajun.
Oh, there's no. You cannot
I
understand.
can't understand
it.
It's like a completely different language almost.
Yeah, it's like that guy from The Water Boy.
Yes.
That's what that's
like the defensive coordinator or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe that's where I don't know where Tony Joe White was from, but he might be from Louisiana, so that might be.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah,
that accent. I don't know for sure if that's true or not, but because he always talks about some of y'all never been down south too much. I'll tell you what it was all about. So yeah, he's probably. I think he is from Louisiana or maybe even Mississippi.
Yeah, he was born July 23rd, 1943 in Louisiana.
Is he still alive?
Nope, he died in 2018.
What a shot!
Oh, he's been gone for a while.
Yeah, I love Tony Joe White. He was very, very. Did you ever see? You guys ever get? Well, you guys are too young to have seen him, but
No.
Really talented guitar player. But he had that. Well, poke salad is you never even heard of it, but it is a side dish in Louisiana and Mississippi, and he talks about what it's made from. That's what the whole song is about. What poke salad's made from.
Just singing his great aunt's
The recipe?
poke salad recipe. Yeah.
But he had this kind of.
Give me the recipe card so I can write a song.
Exactly. But he had one of those families, the Southern boys, where he never opened his mouth when he talked. You ever run into Southerners who don't open their mouth when they talk?
You know, when I've covered a couple of Viking Saints games, yes, that I've seen that. I've seen that. And again, it's funny because, you know, it completely, when it comes to Louisiana, it depends on the part of the state that you're from. Because, you know, some people, I mean, they've got an accent, right? But like there are accents where you have zero problem, to your point, Tom, picking up on exactly what they're saying. And then again, to go to the Cajun, when you get there, it is next to impossible.
You know, one of my favorite stories is I went down to the Beau Rivage, which is in southern Mississippi. I was trying to that hurricane went through there and destroyed the area. So Kath and I went down and tried to help people out and donated money and all that stuff. But
wow.
I will never forget. I walked into the hotel down there, and there is this stunningly beautiful Asian woman behind the counter. I mean, she was just stunning. Mm-hmm. But you have to remember she was Asian. But she didn't grow up in Asia. She grew up locally.
Oh, sure.
So I'm not used to this. I walk up to her and go, "How you doing today?" She goes, "Hey, how y'all doing? Glad to have you in town." I'm like, seeing that come off of this beautiful Asian woman's voice. It's like, what the hell?
Accents that don't make sense from the person you're expecting it from are very jarring at times. You're like, oh, okay, cool.
Honest to God, it was a great experience, though. I will tell you that. It's like, hey, here's another thing I learned today. There are Asian people with Southern accents. I never knew that before that day.
Well, and that part of the country is like being in a different part of the like it's not like there's parts of this country you go to and you're like, I can't believe that I live in the same part, you know, in the same country as this state or city. It can be really, really jarring at times.
You are correct. You've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, during the sports segment with Judd Zulgad from SKOR North, we haven't talked about any sports because our teams suck. So let's move on. No, I mean, they lost 2-1 yesterday. Come on. The Rays are terrible. Or who are they even playing now? I didn't even know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Still the
They're
Rays.
playing 4. They've got 2 more left against the Rays, and then they have a huge series this coming weekend in Kansas City. But yeah, I mean, the Rays basically stripped it down roster wise. So yeah, they're not. I mean, they're actually always pretty competitive, but they are certainly a team you would hope if they do not at least split the series, if not win 3, it will be a disappointment.
There's no question about that. And they say 3 out of 4 from the Rays. You got to do that, don't you?
But you know what's incredible? When the Twins started to play bad and went into it started in that Sunday game against Texas when they puked up a 4-0 lead. Mm-hmm. I went back and did the math. In that time, Kansas City, Cleveland, Boston, who was pursuing them in the wild card, all were 500 or worse.
Yeah.
So like this team's got a horseshoe up its hiney. The Twins do.
They do.
They do. Like they really. I mean, common sense says they should have fallen out of the playoff race at some point when they. I mean, they won 3 games on a 9-game homestand.
I know.
And they did not fall out of a playoff spot. They never have. They didn't, and it's because again they have a horseshoe somewhere because how do you play that putrid of baseball? And everybody else who's a threat to you basically also just collapses simultaneously.
And then they did. You're 100% right. It was like, wow, this is going to be ugly for the. Well, it's not ugly for the Twins because everybody collapsed. I don't get it.
The baseball gods though were like trying to gift the Twins. They're like, come on, take it. You got it. And the Twins are like, no, we don't. What are you talking about?
There's a sports story and it is a sports story because of who's involved. But I just cannot believe that this is happening. How important do you think you are? How big an ego do you have? Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Is it Kels or Kelsey?
Kelsey.
It is Kelsey. I thought so. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will announce their split on September 28th, according to a supposed breakup. They're announcing they're breaking up 3 weeks from now. Little over 3 weeks from now.
And if you announce that you're going to announce, didn't you just technically announce?
I thought so, yes.
Where is this?
It's on Wise Brother Media.
Do we think it's credible or do we think it's
I think so, yeah. Oh, I think this whole thing's been a scam the whole time. You think those two actually gave a rat's ass about one another?
I did for a while, but
there's allegedly a document that was leaked from his lawyers that was some sort of contract with an exact date on when they should end their relationship or would end their.
So it's just a scam from day one.
Well, it says it's a fake PR strategy document spread online that their whole thing was a sham.
So this is coming from the Daily Mail originally.
Yes.
Oh, so it's very credible then.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not. Okay.
I don't know that this is actually a thing.
Don't you? There's no way they're going to stay together anyway. You think?
I don't know. I thought that really? A year ago. I thought it was when it started. I thought this ain't going to last, or if it's even real. But I think it's legit. It doesn't mean I think they're going to stay together forever.
Right.
That's for sure.
Because he's gone to countless Taylor Swift concerts.
Mm-hmm.
And to go to that many and fly all over the place, like one, sure is fine. But like I'm not sitting through all that unless I'm really into Taylor Swift. And so I think he likes her.
You want to make millions of dollars off your new podcast.
Yeah, I think he was going to make millions off of that regardless.
Well, not millions like this, I don't think.
I mean, no, it definitely helps. It definitely helps. I would say this, if I was to wager on this now, I think we'd be to the point where it's probably a better wager that they're going to get married. And then the question is, when's the divorce?
Yeah.
Because once he stops playing, you're going to have issues. Because I don't know what the hell he's going to do. The
original article has pictures of the contract.
Oh,
and this is the most unofficial looking document I've ever seen in my life.
What's it like by a grade school kid?
It's printed out and they put some effort into it, but it's just like it looks like they went into Microsoft Word and just typed up stuff on bullet points and then put like full scope public relations at the top and then put keywords in there like confidentiality notice and like this party and this, it's like
and the desk is really messy as well that it's sitting on. So
I don't think
well, you guys are deep in dive on a little
and it's also sitting next to what looks to be an Xfinity router manual in the corner. So
this is
and it was on
manual for the Xfinity router.
Yeah, so I don't know who this Emily girl is that's desk this is sitting on, but
she's getting attention.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Why would they even post that story if all of that stuff is out there?
Well, it looks like somebody posted it on their Snapchat from what I'm seeing.
And then Wise Brother just picked it up from there.
Yeah, or somebody picked it up.
And as we discussed previously, the Daily Mail they are one of the most credible sources of news that we can find.
Is there a credible source? Because everybody keeps telling me to look here, look, like AP, but I've seen some stories on AP that aren't true in the least. Is there anywhere left to go? And
the only one I've seen, especially when it comes to celebrity news, that is damn near never wrong, and this might sound funny, is TMZ.
Really?
When TMZ reports
Okay.
you're dead, you're dead. Like they break stories and it's like, this is BS, right?
Mhm.
Sure enough, person's dead.
Is that 20-mile zone or 30-mile zone? I can't ever remember that. It's TMZ, but I know it stands for.
I think it's 30.
It's
Oh,
30.
I didn't even know.
It's because it's the 30-mile area around like LA or something where like you are
Yep.
a resident of a
Really?
certain like, group.
Yep.
Yeah.
TMZ.
I didn't even know this. That's really interesting.
You look at all that you learn when you come on.
Look,
this.
I seriously, I never even thought about that. It might be there might be a reference point, but anyway, they're the only ones when it comes to celebrity dope that I have found that are damn near never wrong.
I think you're right about that.
And they must pay a lot of money to people to not be wrong.
I used to have him on the show all the time, but I haven't had him on in a long time now. I think he's too busy to come on shows anymore.
Who's that? Harvey?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Harvey's a trip. I watch
Harvey
his
is
TV
a
show
trip, isn't he?
sometimes.
He's a nice guy, you
He's
know.
a lawyer, right? By trade?
Yes. Yep. No, he does it. And the people that he always shows on camera is like, I'm really working hard at this. I'm sitting at my desk really working hard. Like, okay, settle down. Calm down, kids.
But I mean, they do a hell of a job when it comes to celebrity news and like, you know, like this. If they were to ever say that Taylor Swift and Jason or Travis Kelce were breaking up, I'd say, okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, so we'll keep our finger on the pulse there.
Yeah, I would say that's the best place because after that, to your point, I don't even know.
You know what's so funny about that? Catherine and I had the exact opposite experience about 3 weeks ago when somebody said, hey, you guys have been together for a long time now. How long you known each other? I said, 44 years. I said, really? Honest to God. So how long you been married? I said, we just had our 40th anniversary. This guy pauses. He goes, how the hell did you do that? In other words, I think he thought that she might get rid of me somewhere in that 40-year period, but she never did. So, you know, I think he's shocked by that.
Well, I'm not shocked one bit. No way. You guys, that's it's a great story.
It is a wonderful story.
I think my parents were together for like 55 years or something.
Isn't that just great?
Well, divorce wasn't as big a slam dunk at one time as it is now.
I think that's the one thing we have in common is your parents together 55 years and mine together for 55 minutes. So it's same number.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. Just remove the time period thing from, and it's the exact same thing. 55,
exactly
55.
Right. Exactly right. All right, Pally. Well, a brilliant report this morning. We
avoided the twins as best we could. Is that the brilliance of the report? And we got to the bottom of this fake contract.
I don't know if it's fake or not.
We'll see. You'll be vindicated. You'll be vindicated if it's not.
Once again, Tommy's exactly right on the whole deal. No, I'm hoping it's not true because it's like, oh my God, really? You're announcing that a month from now you're going to break up? Really?
Yeah.
There's some arrogance right there.
Yeah, I don't think that's it. All right, guys. Thank you.
Right, thanks a lot.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Judd Zulgad, SKOR North. Ladies and gentlemen, take a break. Be right back in a couple of seconds. Chris Egert. Does he have a job anymore? He's never at work anymore.
That's not true. I had Channel 5 on before I left the house today, and I heard his voice from the other room. I didn't see him, but I heard his voice.
He could have been doing it from home.
I heard him segue into a commercial break talking about we're going to come back, and here's a look at the Buck Hill Skycam or whatever they have.
So they do have the Buck Hill Skycam.
Yep.
Yes, they do. There's no question about it. We shall take a break. It's time for Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities. Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities are a place where your loved one will live with pride and dignity. That's a very important thing, man. If you care deeply about someone in your life, Wellshire is the place. I highly recommend. Wellshire is a memory care focused facility that has a full nursing team. That's always staffed with within the building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, too. They have never used or relied on any staffing agencies. Wellshire of Medina is now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. I do know them personally. And again, I don't say things like that if they're not true. I've known him for, I don't even know if he wants me to give his name, but I've known him for about 35, 40 years. So that's good. Yeah, so I've known him for a long, long time. Just a really, really, really great family. Like I said, I know them personally. They are a family-owned local company conveniently located right in Medina and Bloomington. They are the best staffed memory care facility in the state, as a matter of fact. Wellshire has a robust community with activities 7 days a week. If your loved one is in need of a memory care facility, please get in touch with my friends at Wellshire. Set up a tour or learn more at wellshiremn.com. That's WEALSHIREMN.com.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market, the economy. He knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You have got nothing to lose, and you'll find you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. As a matter of fact, I ran into an old friend walking down the street, and I brought up Josh's name because, I don't know, we were doing something that day or whatever, but he knew Josh Arnold, man. Everybody knows Josh Arnold. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance, no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by, if I could do a South Dakota accent, I would do it right here because I want.
What's a South Dakota accent?
I don't know.
That. What does that even mean?
I'm asking you. I'm not saying there is.
Hey, you're Mr. Sioux Falls. How do they talk in Sioux Falls?
They go, "Hey, I'm on my way to work." Unlike
exactly
on his way to work. Exactly what they. There's the accent, right there.
Thank you.
Well, you're at work today, though.
I am. Yes, I'm in the office today.
Marvelous thing. Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Chris, we'll get this out of the way quickly because it's just too sad to even talk about. This guy at Park Tavern was 4 times over the legal limit.
Yeah.
0.365?
Yep, and had been what did we say? Had been arrested
5 DUIs or DWIs.
Yeah, 5.
Really?
Yep.
And I don't know the legal system that well, but how is he allowed behind the wheel of any vehicle?
Yep, I agree.
Well, I mean that's a great point, AJ. My other point is how do you take guns away from everybody? Mm-hmm. How do you take cars away from everybody who's going to drink and drive? I don't know. Just because if he wouldn't have had a license, would that have stopped him from drinking and driving? I don't know. I'm going to say probably not.
Was his ID? Was his license good though?
I think his license was good at this point. I have not heard otherwise. I would. I know what your point is.
Yeah, and I understand yours too because obviously you can't have somebody monitoring every time he wants to go near a vehicle, but it's weird to me that after 5 instances of that. It's like, yep, you got the green light to get behind a car. We trust you still. That seems weird to me.
For sure. And I think that's what everyone's, there's a million reasons that people are upset about this story. You had some innocent people get killed. Guy was obviously drunk, allegedly. Well, that'll work its way through the courts. In fact, he'll have his first court. I thought yesterday, it might happen yesterday, but he'll have his first court appearance today. So I don't know what more we'll find out from that. I think the Hennepin County prosecutor released most of the information yesterday about what they have so far on it. So I didn't bring this up yesterday, but I think I read in the paper yesterday that there were like 10 St. Louis Park police officers who lifted the car off of one of the victims and kind of like jumped into action to try to help. I think the guy he did say he hit the gas instead of the brake.
Yes.
And I think the report we had this morning that he was going like 30 miles an hour, and that's in a parking lot.
That's moving. Yeah.
That explains a lot because he'd been going super slow. I don't think it obviously would have been as awful as it turned out. So
no, and I'd be curious to see if, like, as they investigate, if he has charges at, another local bar where he was potentially drinking, or if this was like him drinking at home and then going out and venturing into the world.
Well, I would say that's a good point, Tevin. And if there's any kind of a trail of him being out at other places and or being overserved in other places, it could also get to be something that somebody else could be held somewhat responsible for, which is also kind of, I get it, but it's, it was the individual's, the individual was the one who acted the way he acted, but the whole thing's a bad deal.
It is indeed. And to try to lighten the moment a bit, I do remember. So I've never even been tested for a DUI in my entire life. I've never even been tested. But one time over at the Q, the Minnesota State Patrol, and there's an office right there where I used to live in Golden Valley. It's right across from the Byerly's in Golden Valley.
Yeah.
And they came to KQ and said, we want to show people what this, testing, this is like 25 years ago, something like that. We show them how this whole system works. What we'd like to do is come on the KQ morning show, and Tom should drink alcohol on the KQ morning show and just keep taking the breath test. So we'll just go through, a couple of hours of that, 2-3 hours of that. And then you'll see how Tom, his blood alcohol will rise a lot quicker than people think it will. And it got as far as the program director, Dave Hamilton, said, there is no way I'm letting him get drunk on the air.
What is this, Mythbusters?
Can you imagine me on it? What the hell are you looking at?
We did that. They did that in I was working in Huron at the time in radio, and the Huron, I think it might have been either it was South Dakota State Patrol or Huron Police.
Right.
We did the same thing. And I was running the board, which was interesting. For those of you who aren't that familiar with, radio is a little bit different, but back in the day, the guy who was on the air was running everything. And then it was a bunch of antiquated equipment and stuff too. But I remember like trying to run the board, remember what I was supposed to be doing, hit my brakes on time, hit the top of the hour news break. Like that was a lot. So yeah, don't drink and drive, kids, I think was the lesson of the story there.
What are you looking at?
You would have been, I get why your general manager didn't want to do that, but it would have been a very entertaining program for everyone else.
Well, I didn't even drink on the air when we went to Vegas because it was, first of all, 3:30 in the morning, and I'm not big at drinking at 3:30 in the morning. But I remember one of the guys, he's still around, as a matter of fact, he showed up so hammered. I'm looking at him, and he's staring at me, and he gets this attitude, and I'm like, there's no way that guy can go on the air. He sits down right in front. 5,000 people were in the auditorium to see the show that day. He picks up his microphone and goes, what about this? And throws it across the room and walks out. Live on the air in front of 5,000 people live in the auditorium. He throws them. What do you think of that? Just like, oh, yeah, I think you might be out of a job soon. That's what I think.
I think it's time for
that's like, who was it? Pat McAfee. They did for college football. He did his show over in Ireland at some pub, and he was just drunk as hell during his entire show. Damn near threw up. Like he's like, well, I'm in Dublin. I can't. What do you expect me not to get drunk?
Well, see, there you go. All right, Mr. Egert, another brilliant report, I thought.
Yeah, what else? I was going to tell you something else too.
Oh, good. Yeah, you do have a couple more minutes before you rush off.
State Fair ended up setting some daily records. They have the numbers now. And the Sunday before Labor Day was the busiest day of the fair with 256,000 people there.
Jeez.
256? Man.
And then I happened to be there on the lowest attended day, which was 80,000, which is that really awful, humid, hot day.
How'd they know you were going to be there?
What's that?
How'd they know you were going to be there?
That's why the numbers were down.
Oh, Egert's going to be there for
I would say that was my favorite day at the fair because there's nobody there.
Yeah, man, it gets up around 240, 250, 260, but 280, my God, there must not have been an inch to move.
Yeah, it was. I know, and then Saturday wasn't a record setter, but there were a ton of people out there Saturday too. So anyway,
but I just want to ask you a quick. I know you got to go, but I heard there was some brouhaha at midnight on Monday night when they closed down the fair. There was some problems or something, I heard.
Well, I saw some video on social media of some kids fighting. And,
yeah, right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Apparently they had weapons and all kinds of stuff.
Well, and then there were also 3 kids that were shot away from the fairgrounds.
Yep.
That was the last night too. So I don't know. To me, it's a miracle that more crap doesn't go down there when you talk about that many people in one place.
Yes.
And particularly if they've been served or, God knows what else they've gotten themselves into. So I don't know.
There you have it. All right, young man, a brilliant report yet again today.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it. Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. Speaking of Josh Arnold, we'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Maybe we'll see do we want him on or should we just blow him off?
I'll tell you what, I'll call him, and then as it's ringing, I'll make my decision.
You just hang up after one ring.
Yeah. Hey, Josh. Talk to you later, Josh.
Well, the reason I say that is because AJ and I have seen this, but you have not seen this, Tevin.
Mm-hmm.
Josh needs to be off the phone by 8:58. Oh, pardon me, big shot.
Oh, no, that's more for us just because I know we can get engulfed in financial talk, but I know we do have we have a pretty interesting guest that I want to make sure we have enough time for.
I think that's wonderful. Oh, yeah, that is an interesting guest, isn't it?
It is.
I know his grandfather, as a matter of fact. In any case, we'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Let's take a second right now to talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. If you own a business or thinking about starting one, make sure to check out my friends at North American Banking Company. When your business is looking to capitalize on an opportunity or solve a problem, turn to their experts because they are locally owned and operated. Loan decisions are made here in the Twin Cities, not shipped out of state. This helps business owners expand with confidence. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market and the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Arnold joins us now. Josh, I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
I was walking down the street out on one of my walks, and I ran into a man and a woman walking the other way, and the guy recognized me, which was very, very nice, and no question about it. But then things got really bad because he knows you. So it was all about you. Last name is Ratner. I've known him for years, actually, turns out. I didn't know it was him, though, because I hadn't seen him in years. But yeah,
wow.
Mr. Ratner he's a big fan of yours.
That's very nice.
It's all true.
That's very nice.
So there we go. What's the latest in your world, brother?
The world is ending. The world is ending.
Because someone was nice to you?
No. No, people are nice to me on occasion.
On occasion, okay.
They are nice to me on occasion, but you asked what was new in my world. And in my world yesterday and even today, the world is ending. Sell stocks, sell stocks, sell stocks. We're going to have a recession. Didn't you see the economic numbers? And oh my goodness, they want to raise taxes again.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They want to raise taxes again. The rich aren't paying their fair share. And it's horrible. Why? Jeff Bezos has too many houses. He doesn't deserve that many houses. Elon Musk, we've got to go after Elon Musk. Why? He lets people talk and spread misinformation on Twitter. And oh my goodness, he's borrowing against his stock to go build out SpaceX and send people to the moon and to Mars. And he's borrowing money against his stock to expand Twitter. Oh, man, he has too much money. He's too wealthy. We better tax his unappreciated, or excuse me, his unrealized capital gains, and do that for anybody who has assets over $100 million. Why? Those people, of which there are about 10,000 in the United States. Why? They don't pay their fair share.
Mm-hmm.
I pointed this out to a few people the other day. I said, you know, all these politicians are going after people who have accumulated wealth, and it might be generational wealth. I don't know. But a lot of that wealth is not liquid. It could be in farmland.
Right.
It could be in real estate. It could be in art. Could be in oil wells. I don't know. How are these people going to be paying taxes with money they may not have available? And we're not talking little taxes. We're talking big taxes. Now, the next question I have is, should this get passed? Because it's all speculation at this point, but should this get passed, would eventually these people not have to pay tax when they go to sell the asset, because they've already been paying tax on the asset, thereby increasing their cost basis. Don't know. Has not been explained. It is only this desire to go after people who have wealth, because it just isn't fair that somebody who started a business, any type of business, has accumulated this wealth. Now, some people have said, well, Musk and Bezos have accumulated their wealth on the backs of their workers, and they don't treat their workers well. Well, guess what? You don't have to continue working at SpaceX or Tesla or Amazon. Go find another job. You have a choice. This is not, you're not put in prison to go working for these companies. Go find another job.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
At the same time, with this tax on wealth, the interesting thing is one of the richest people around, Warren Buffett, haven't heard him, come out and voice any opinion about this. And his wealth is way more than $100 million, although he's given away through a charitable remainder trust quite a lot of it. So he might be exempt from this tax. Don't know. I just think this is not only an unfair tax, but it's one of those things that, if it works on this group, well, just drop the number. Again, I don't know. I do know that there was a tax called the alternative minimum tax passed in about 1968, which was only aimed at 800 people.
Right.
Who were, we'll say, avoiding paying, quote unquote, their fair share through any number of legal deductions at that time. So the alternative minimum tax was passed to go get them. So, this is only a tax for these rich people. Well, today, I do believe, and I would, I'll put it this way, I would be willing to guess that at one time it was 800 people that tax would hit. Mm-hmm. I'd be willing to bet that it could be over 8 million people.
Yes.
Or more that this tax hits. And this is really a flat tax. It hits at about the 20% level. Now, if somebody were to say, Josh, we need to have a flat tax, wonderful. It's already on the books. There it is, called the alternative minimum tax. You can shift everything to that. And that's very fair because it would hit everybody. But we'll see. We'll see about that. Now, when it comes to the world is ending, after some economic numbers came out yesterday to start September, and do be aware that the month of September and October typically are pretty volatile, especially so prior to an election. Well, the economic numbers came out yesterday, and it was, oh my goodness. The Fed is talking about dropping interest rates, and the Chicago manufacturing index was lower than expected. Things are slowing down here. We could be on the verge of a major recession. Horror upon horrors. Sell, sell, sell. I don't believe we're on the verge of a major recession. Yes, the economy could slow down. Do bear in mind that's something that the Federal Reserve has been pushing for with their tight monetary policy, despite a very loose fiscal policy coming from the administration. You get too tight of a monetary policy, you start squeezing some of the liquidity out of the system, and that could cause a slowdown. We could also take a look at some companies that appeal to, I'm not going to say bargain shoppers, but lower income individuals, they're not doing well. Dollar Tree missed their earnings and cut their guidance today. That follows on with Dollar General. So these are the dollar stores. Well, if they're hurting, where are people shopping? Five Below, another discounter, at a difficult time. Today, an upper scale retailer, Dick's Sporting Goods, they beat the numbers handily for going into the summer, but they issued cautious guidance. You know, this stock is down. Consumer's definitely not going to Nordstrom.
Oh, we lost him there.
Am I back?
No, we have to go anyway. That's cool. But yeah, you dropped off for a second there. But we will talk to you in studio on Friday.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Josh Arnold, ladies and gentlemen, right back in a couple of seconds.
Do you want to just stay here and then take...
yeah, that'd be great.
Perfect. I'll get Fred on here.
We could take a couple of breaks after that goes on. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Never better, actually. There's no question. All in the family, the Trumps and how we got this way. Fred C. Trump III is on the phone with us, ladies and gentlemen. So it says here, I like this, Fred. Born into arguably today's most famous family in the world. That's kind of a bit of pressure there, don't you think, Fred? The most famous family in the world.
He's a Kardashian.
Well, I used to joke, and it sort of stuck. Where this goes back a long time. That I said, without question, Donald has the biggest ego on the planet Earth, and I defy anyone to come up with somebody who has a larger ego. So yeah, because of him, we were a quiet family up until Donald made his move into Manhattan in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I remember. Matter of fact, I lived in New York, on 20th Street and 2nd Avenue in the late 70s and early 80s. And
my first apartment was on 25th between 2nd and 3rd. Yeah.
See, there you go. Now, where in line are you related to Donald Trump? Obviously a different generation, but where do you come in?
My father Freddie was Donald's older brother, so I'm Donald's nephew.
Oh, you're his nephew. Okay, so because I've met Donald Trump in person a couple of times, and one was before he was president, and one was while he was president. What's interesting to me, Fred, is that in person he's nothing like what he is on television. I mean, he's very kind and generous, doesn't yell, doesn't go on and on and on. I mean, maybe it was just me, but that's a different persona that he's got when he's on camera. No question about that.
Yeah, no, he can be. He definitely can turn on the charm, and and that's great. He puts on the man of the people routine. But yeah, when the cameras are on, he has his persona that's been well honed over the decades, and he has to keep up with that.
Now, so how does the whole thing work? Now, okay, so it's your uncle, but the whole family has benefited, I hope, from all this wealth that he's accumulated over the years. Is that true?
I certainly haven't. That his presidency really tore into I was in the real estate business in the city. It certainly did not help. In fact, many clients I was going after said, "Look, we love you. You've got a great track record, Fred, but we can't have this background with Donald."
Really? So it really hurts you that much? Yeah. It's kind of like my kids get hurt by having me as their dad. You know how that works.
My kids would say the same thing.
Well, there you go. So how do you get through that? Let's say that Donald is elected president again, because it seems like it's a pretty tight race, so it could be won by anybody. But let's say he wins again. Is this going to be another tough 4-year period for you and your business?
Well, I'm no longer in the real estate business.
Oh, okay.
Let's put it that way.
Okay.
With the book right now, I've been dedicating my time to going out and talking about the book, but also important to me is my young son, William, has complex disabilities. So as I say, if I have a national platform, which I believe I do, I will be advocating and have been advocating on people with individual and developmental disabilities. So that is my main goal.
What I love, Fred, honest to God, I just looked, and it's on your descriptor. The Washington Post makes a comment about All in the Family, and it's 7 lines long. It's usually a few words. It's 7 lines long.
Wow. I'll have to check that out.
I'll read it to you very quickly if you got a minute.
Sure.
Washington Post calls All in the Family a dishy portrait of generations of the Trump family as chronically toxic, narcissistic, conniving, and crude. Trump family gathering sounds like it must have been a nightmare, almost as if they were in competition with each other to see who could be the meanest. There really doesn't seem to be any occasion, as Fred remembers it, when the Trumps couldn't find reason to be cruel to others and themselves. My God, that's kind of a harsh little line. 7 lines there.
Well, the one benefit of the holidays, mostly Thanksgiving and Christmas, is that my family had an unwritten policy that they only lasted about an hour. That's all anybody could think of each other. So it wasn't like other families that I know that, have 2-3 hour Thanksgivings or Christmas and enjoy each other's company. It was like, hey, let's eat and let's get the hell out of here.
So is that, in your opinion, Fred, is that why Donald kind of is the way he is, that there was always turmoil in the family and that's how he developed a way to deal with the turmoil?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've just, I read for the audiobook, and I was in the city again yesterday. I took the train in from Connecticut where I live. So I was listening to the part about my grandfather and his children. And my grandfather's the one who really pitted one against each other. I don't know if it was a game or it was just a way to toughen everybody up.
Right.
But that's exactly what happened.
That's really, really sad when you look at it that way, isn't it? That life has to go that way. I mean, very, very fortunate family in many, many ways. And it just
could have been different.
It could have been different, but it seems like it maybe. So this started all the way back with Donald's father, you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's what I thought.
There's no doubt about it.
That's what I thought. So how's the book doing? I got to believe this book's going to do very well. Gee, there's an election coming up in a couple of months, so it might sell pretty well for a while.
Well, it's a New York Times bestseller. It's the #1 book in Canada. So that's something I didn't anticipate.
No, I suppose not.
Lots of interviews, which is great. As I sort of half joke, when people don't want to hear from me anymore, then I'm in trouble. So
that's true.
I'm ready to do this every day, and it's a pleasure to talk to folks like you.
Well, Fred, let me just tell you something. You should, with your personality, you should. Are you going to get involved in some other? I mean, you didn't retire totally, did you? Just got
No.
Okay.
No, seriously, the advocacy for the complex disabled is my mission right now.
Okay.
I mean, I will hopefully be campaigning for Kamala Harris, but my end game is to give basically a voice to the voiceless, and the disabled community is a large voting bloc. I hate to boil it down to that.
Yes.
But these people need help. They need our help, and I'm here to do it.
Fred, is really, really a pleasure to get to. Now I know 2 Trumps. I know Donald and I know Fred C. the third. You're a little bit more even keel than Donald is. I got to be honest with you.
Well, that's because of my parents, Fred and Linda. They're the ones who gave me whatever goodness I have. It's from them.
Well, Fred, if you ever go on tour, make sure you come in the studio. I'd love to shake your hand and meet you one of these days.
That would be my pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
All right, pal.
Have a great day. Fred C. Trump III, All in the Family, the Trumps, and How We Got This Way. I didn't want to get into how they got this way because, honest to God, that's one of the things about my life that I'm kind of grateful for, because I've seen it from the inside, sitting there having lunch with the guy. He doesn't act like that in person. So this was all a plan. This was all worked out. I mean, he doesn't act like that at all in person. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have the kind of public face that you put on, and whether he's playing to his base or I think he's kind of a chameleon where he can try and fit in and blend with whoever and kind of overplay it. And then when he's by himself, I'm sure he's much more reserved and not as outlandish.
Do you think the American voter is going to put up with another couple of months of him just screaming at people and calling people names and all that? I mean, they're both sides are doing it, but I mean, he needs to calm down.
I know.
So you agree?
I do. I did a little research on Fred III and put it on the Facebook page last night, or timed it.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised he didn't say this, and I'm just going to read one sentence from an article about that that came from him. When Fred Trump III asked his uncle Donald for money to help with his disabled son's medical care, the former U.S. president suggested just letting the young man die instead.
Oh, I don't know if that. Do you think that's true?
He said it. He's quoted as saying this.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said those kind of things.
Well, yeah, everybody says it for fun, but you wouldn't say it to Tevin if Tevin's son was disabled.
No, I would not.
Of course not. You would never do that to your friend or as a joke, maybe. But
he didn't bring that up. That's amazing.
And it seemed like an amazingly level-headed, kind of calm person.
Fred.
And maybe the whole family's like that, because his sister is Mary, I think, who goes after the former president all the time.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, that's one of the deals. I don't know how he thinks. Maybe he thinks that he made all that money acting that way. But now that you got the money, why don't you stop acting like that? I mean, I could not deal with somebody who went off the rails like that around me.
He's not going to change. That's who he is.
No,
it's just.
I'm sure just like years of doing that, it's similar as like when you see, like, for instance, Austin Butler. He did the whole Elvis voice thing to be Elvis for a movie.
Yeah.
And then he talked like Elvis for like 3 years after filming the movie.
That's what I heard.
So it's like, that stuff's hard to kick. And, and I'm sure it just kept kind of going and going. And that was an interesting side of that family that I have never.
Yeah, I'm sure that he gets that a lot, where he says his last name and they're like, wait, you're related? Like, I would think that your whole family was like psychotic and crazy, where he comes off very even keel. And I'm sure having to leave the real estate business, he is watching press conferences or something, and Donald will say something. He's like, Jesus, I'm never going to get another client again.
I'm changing my last name to Hitler.
Oh, Hitler.
I'm kidding.
Oh, he was a socialist. That means you're pretty even keel these days, doesn't it?
Let's start with like Johnson, maybe.
Yeah, Johnson.
We go with Lyndon Baines Johnson. Although, don't forget that he used to force people to come into the bathroom while he was taking a dump to talk to him.
He was crazy.
He was nuts. There's no doubt about it.
I had read a biography about him 20 years ago. He's a fascinating person. I mean, talk about somebody who came from absolutely nothing,
very
smart, way up, passed the greatest civil rights legislation, but still used the N-word freely. I mean, it's just like the guy is so contradictory, and I don't know, very interesting person.
You got to be honest, though. I do that when Tevin's not here. But yeah,
not surprised.
Oh, he goes, I'm not surprised. Blow it out your butt, you pal. We got to take a break here, don't we? Because we got Kristen Bird coming up in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, we only need to take the one break, though, so we're all set.
You got it. Sounds great. We'll be right back.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. To thank you, they're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever. When you use promo code TOM, you get free shipping on your entire order. You get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98. And take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses and mattress toppers. 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM, and you can get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146. Go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts, many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard Podcast. And I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
You are indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Kristen Burt, Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. This might be a record. We got you on time for the first time, I think, in a year and a half.
I was kind of unexpected, and I wasn't expecting to be on. I'm like, my camera wasn't on. I'm like typing up an article. I'm so used to now, like just continuing on with my work and going, oh, they're going an extra like 5 minutes. So I'll just keep working.
We'll try to get this under control at some point. No question about it. Okay, so I do have to ask you, because I know you got a lot to talk about. Do you think this Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce announcement that they're going to split up on September 29th or 28th is real?
No, I don't.
Nobody does. Nobody believes that's real.
No. I think that if they're not already engaged, they're going to get engaged. There's rumors that they are engaged, and they secretly got engaged sometime in Europe over the summer. But I think that they are endgame.
Or at least
or at least a first marriage for both of them. Because you never know with Hollywood.
Do you think part of that is that when you make as much money as she does, she has to marry somebody who's a multi-millionaire? Otherwise, she would never be comfortable?
I think you run sort of two situations on this. A lot of times people try the A-list power marriage the first time around. Right. And sometimes that does not work because this career is so up and down, and you really have to be firmly rooted in your foundation as a couple, because one of you might not work for a year and the other person is riding sky high and getting an Oscar. And it is one of those situations, if you don't have your house in order, it's not going to last. I mean, just look at Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, God.
They're both huge. They're both successful. And there was nothing that was going to be able to make something like that work. Conversely, sometimes when people go to their second marriage, they're like, I just want a normal person, either working behind the scenes, whether they're a studio executive, whether they maybe work in fashion or something somewhat related to the entertainment industry, or a lawyer. That usually works better for a lot of people.
Now, this is a question for everybody on the show. Do you think people fall in love like they used to? Because there was always talking about falling in love, and you don't really hear that much anymore. And
unless you're watching The Bachelor.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah. And that always turns out to be fake anyway. Don't they get divorced like a month later?
Well, last night was the finale of The Bachelorette, and it was really an explosive kind of jaw-dropping, I'm going to call it reality show torture, because honestly, it was, I don't know if anyone saw a clip this morning on social media, but Jen Tran was the Bachelorette. She had gotten engaged to this guy named Devin, and he broke up with her shortly after they got engaged. And, there's months that the viewers kind of miss because it ends filming and then they go to the live, ending, supposedly happily ever after life. But, she was devastated by this breakup, and she's like doing that ugly cry, that real sob that comes deep from your heart when you can't stop. And there's Jesse Palmer, and he goes, you had such a beautiful engagement. Why don't we show it? And she has to relive that supposedly happy moment while she's ugly crying. And she goes, I guess you're going to make me, aren't you? And I was like, this is backstage. The producers are like, oh my God, this is amazing television. The audience is horrified. And guess what? This morning she wakes up and she's on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh God. Is it all a scam?
It's not a scam because they actually signed her only hours after that finale. I think Dancing with the Stars, which just happened to be announcing the cast today, realized if we don't sign her, we are missing out on a PR opportunity. And she might as well, Jen Tran might as well do the cash grab at that point.
You know, do people realize, or have they never realized, or have they always realized that finding someone to fall in love with is an amazing gift from the planet or the universe or whatever the hell it is? I mean, honestly, look, I know I have to get up every morning and look at my wife and go, okay, I guess I don't deserve this, but I'll go to work anyway. You know, it's a tough way to live.
Well, I think that, dating has changed. I bridged the era of like where people were doing online dating. I did meet my husband, through word of mouth through my ex-boyfriend, but it's one of those that most of the people, even in my era, it was like Match.com and things like that. That was the real sort of forefront to what you see now, which is like Hinge and Bumble and things like that. Grinder. Grinder. But, I feel like there's going to be a swing back to where people are like, I just want to meet someone through a friend or through work or a real connection, because we are dialed into our online lives almost too much.
You know, what's amazing about that, I'm not looking at anyone in particular here. I'm looking at the screen, but that must feel, I can't even imagine how I would feel if Catherine all of a sudden, well, after 40 years, it's probably not going to happen. But if she came to me and said, this is just not working. Like you met, you dated, you got married, you were married, and now it's all over and you probably never see each other again. Unless you
Tom, gray divorce, and that's the term that's used in the press. Gray divorce is very common. So meaning like when your hair turns gray, the kids are out of the house and it's just the two of you and you realize, you know what? I have let's just say like a woman's 55 and she's like, I can't spend the next 25 years of my life with this man.
Yep.
It was fine when we had kids and we were busy and driving to soccer and ballet practice, but the two of us alone, oh no, life is too short for me to do this. And that's what happens to a lot of couples.
It does more than ever.
More than ever. Gray divorce. And in fact, if you talk to divorce lawyers, a lot of them will say that the gray divorce is the most common one right now.
Is it more even keel because they're both more mature, hopefully?
That's a good question, because you have to remember anyone that's maybe a boomer, the woman probably stayed at home, raised the kids, didn't necessarily have a job outside of the home. And if the man was the provider the whole time around, that could get ugly in terms of finances and how you split it, depending on your state.
Yeah.
So, or if the woman had a career, maybe that would be a more easy split. But it's an interesting dynamic, because now most families, like having a partner stay at home, whether it's the husband or the wife, to raise the kids, that is a luxury in this day and age.
No question about that. So I should consider myself lucky. That's been 44 years and we're moving forward.
You have a true love story, Tom.
I do. There's no question.
I'm happy for you. That's good.
She pays for it every day. Notice I didn't say I pay for it every day. She pays for it every day. I understand what's real.
But KB is good because she can spar right back with you. And that yeah.
There's no question about it. Anything good coming up? I'm telling you, everybody's raving about Bad Monkey, and I understand why. We've seen
there's a new episode today on Apple TV Plus. So be sure to check that out, because that is I think going to be, it's interesting. It was released like after the Emmys news cycle. So when I talk about it, the next Emmys news cycle will be like, it's for season 1. Remember when it came out last summer? And the timeline will feel really off. But I do think Vince Vaughn will probably be in the mix for next year's Emmys.
God, he's really good. He is really, the entire cast does a great job.
Yeah. And like I said, there's a lot of really good hidden gems on Apple TV Plus. And if you are looking for something new, that is a subscription. Even if you just do it short term, you don't have to do it long term, kind of catch up on some of their series. I think you'll find that there's a lot of content to dive into.
Any like number 1 or number 2 thing you'd recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I think that The Morning Show has been a solid winner for them. That is Shrinking's another great one that's is on there. Too, yeah. So, I mean, and you're getting the one thing about Apple is that they have not pulled back the way some of the other streamers have in terms of salaries and crazy production deals. So it's easy to get a Harrison Ford and a Jennifer Aniston and people who demand very high salaries on their network. I'm interested to see what's going to happen, though, with Wolves, which is the George Clooney, Brad Pitt movie. Originally, it was supposed to have a longer-term theatrical run. It's only going to run for 1 week, and then it's just going to stream on. Yeah. And, it premiered at the Venice Film Festival, and it's gotten really mediocre reviews, to be honest. But they obviously, to have 2 A-listers in the movie, they spent a lot of money on it. So I'm sure Apple TV is really trying hard to maximize as much of the profits as they possibly can. But I don't know if anyone's following this, and this might be like too inside baseball in Hollywood, but when the festivals come around, the media always reports on how long the standing ovations were. I'm like, can we get any more egocentric? So, and here's the thing. So Angelina Jolie is probably going to be in the running for an Oscar. She's doing a biopic on Maria Callas, the opera singer. It's supposed to be outstanding, unbelievable. People consider her the front runner. She got an 8-minute standing ovation. Solid. That's amazing. 8 minutes. And she cried her eyes out, but of course she exits and goes to the Telluride Film Festival while they usher in Brad Pitt, because these two are still fighting over their divorce and cannot be in the same room. So the Venice Film Festival, this festival director was literally like, we organized these schedules so they would never see each other. They wouldn't be in Italy on the same days. And Brad and George got a 4-minute standing ovation. And people who keep track of these, he said, she said, divorce, whose side are you on, are noting that Angelina got 8 minutes. Brad only got 4. And if you divide that up with George Clooney, because he co-stars with him.
He only got 2.
Yeah. He only got 2 is exactly, Doug.
I don't know if I could applaud for either one of those 2 guys, George Clooney or Brad Pitt. It's not my kind of people.
No, see, Brad is suffering from the bad press over the fact that none of his kids like him.
Right.
And then George Clooney is getting a lot of backlash for his New York Times op-ed for, saying that Biden should step down. A lot of people thought it was rude. And he's like, nobody will ever remember this. This is what he's been saying kind of at the Venice Film Festival. And I'm like, no, there are plenty of people who thought what you did was rather cruel.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's none of your business. First of all, there, George.
Well, he's not in politics. That's the other thing. Why do we need your New York Times op-ed? And I think, there are a few people who probably take it out on Wolves and be like, I'm not seeing that movie because of him. So, and I think, interestingly enough, that resonates from both sides of the political spectrum. So, yeah.
I still can't find a spot off center. I just can't do it. I can't move toward either one because you should have come on when Fred C. Trump III was on this morning. That would have been great.
Oh, I'll have to go back and listen to that.
Not exactly positive about old Uncle Donald, I'll tell you that.
I can't wait to hear that.
I mean, it's an interesting situation because you got both sides of both things, but I did like the fact, and I brought it up first thing on the show, that Kamala goes with the soul brother accent on certain occasions, uses her real voice on others, and
Obama did the same.
I know he did. He did the same thing. Why would you do that? I got nowhere to go. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know if I'm going to vote for president because I got nobody to vote for.
Well, you've got plenty of TV up ahead if you want to watch presidential debates and vice presidential debates. If you're a swing voter. That's all I have to say.
I'm still poisoned because I was only 9 years old when I found out that the first Roman Catholic president, John F. Kennedy, his family was involved with the mafia. And I will never forget how that broke my heart. And I've never liked politicians since that day.
Not the affairs, not the Marilyn Monroe affair and everyone else affair. I mean, if we're going to go by the Roman Catholic, okay, you got to, stay faithful to your wife. That was, whoo. I mean, if you go back and look at how many women he slept with, some of these biographies about him are pretty wild. And he had an appetite for women.
Bobby did too. My wife was good friends with a woman who just recently passed, sadly, but she was Bobby's admin assistant in the 60s. And some of the stories that she told, it's like, oh my God.
They must have been running defense all the time of like making sure that mistresses didn't cross paths.
But think about it, Kristen. In those days, there was an unwritten rule that the presidents and they were just off limits to reporters. They would, I think, everybody knew what was going on, but nobody would dare write anything.
And it's always the narrative of the long-suffering Kennedy women. They also knew what was going on, but stiff upper lip, and you just like grin and bear it because you're part of the Kennedy lore, the Kennedy legacy.
25 years ago, my family and I went through the White House on a tour and all the rest of it. And there was a guy. So this is 25 years ago, 1999. There was one of the guards in the White House. He looked at the time to be about 90. So now he'd be, 115. But we're talking about this, that, and the other thing. And it happened to be the guy was born in Minnesota. That's why he wanted to talk to me, because I came from Minnesota and all the rest of it. And where I was talking to him, he was born in Minnesota, but didn't grow up here. But he said, because you're a Minnesotan, I'm going to give you a little tip. It's a JFK tip. I said, okay. I said, you were here then? And he goes, yeah, well, that was a young man then. Apparently, when JFK and Marilyn had sex, he used to like to hold her head underwater in the pool.
Jeez.
That's a little creepy, don't you think?
That's graphic.
That's graphic.
No, well, also, I mean, the abuse in Hollywood of Marilyn Monroe is pretty well documented, and it really is such a tragic tale, and unfortunately, such a Hollywood tale too. But it crossed over into the political spectrum as well.
As a woman, or anybody else in the room as a man, can you explain to me what the thrill is of holding somebody's head underwater while you're having sex with them? Is it total control or something? Is that what that's
Ask me next week.
You'll give it a whirl.
Once his pool is installed.
Yeah, I can see your wife putting up with that.
Black eye, broken nose. Yeah, it didn't go very well.
We're sorry to announce Doug has drowned.
That's right. Doug drowned. That's exactly right. That was a great report today, sister.
Thank you. Here for all the scoop,
There's a lot of scoop. There's no question. And once again, there's a lot of great stuff to watch on TV now.
There's a lot. And I was laughing because I was like, last night I was at a party that Hulu threw for the secret lives of Mormon wives. And it's about soft swinging in the Mormon community.
Oh, God.
And I literally was thinking, if I told Tom this, he would be like, I'm like, is he going to come pick me up and like go, you need to leave Hollywood at this point?
Okay, AJ, your question.
What is soft swinging?
Soft swinging is that you and your group of Mormon wives and husbands swap partners and do everything but actual sex. I mean, sex is so penetration, I guess. Intercourse. Yeah. But I was like, oral, I know sometimes is lumped into all that. So, because we went through that with Bill Clinton, remember?
Yes, we did.
We did. I was like, we've been through that. But, and then of course, guess what? They all got divorced and now they got themselves a reality show. And then Hulu threw a party and I walked away. AJ, I was texting with your girlfriend this morning. And I was like, look at my swag. I got like a Stanley cup. I got a denim jacket they embroidered it with KB on it for me. I got gold hoop earrings. I'm like, these Mormon wives are living. This is a great party.
See, there you go. And by the way, speaking of Clinton, he had the most brilliant, scummy line in the history of the White House. It depends on what the definition of is. Or it. Was it it? Or
I thought it was the.
I thought it was it.
Didn't he say define the? It was something like that.
We'd have to look it up. What did he say? Kevin, you're good at that stuff.
We'll take a look for it. But as I'm looking it up, Kristen, this kind of, I guess, falls in your realm, but it was brought to light by sports. ABC and ESPN and Disney are fighting with DirecTV. Is this kind of the next step in the death of, like network television, I guess, or anything that's not streaming?
Yeah, maybe satellite. A lot of people who do subscribe to DirecTV are saying, like, where's my ABC? Where's my ESPN? And, it used to be in these situations where the cable or the satellite network would hold the cards and saying, you're depriving our viewers of your content. But now that Disney has its own sort of entity of like, we've got Disney Plus, like we can stream this. We don't need you anymore. It's Disney that holds the cards. And it's going to be DirecTV that's going to have to make make those concessions in order to get them back to the network. And this is going to be a fight because this is not going to just happen with Disney. We're going to see this with other streaming networks that are tied into like CBS, like a Paramount Plus and a CBS on a DirecTV. And I think in the end, the streaming networks are going to win.
It seems like it. Their programming is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. And Bill Clinton's quote was, "It depends on what the meaning of the word is."
Oh, it is. What the definition or what the meaning of the word is. Oh, does it depend on that, Bill? I don't think so, but good misdirection there, pal. Good move. Yeah, it's becoming more and more obvious to me after having Fred C. Trump III on this morning. Nice guy, by the way. Very, very nice guy. Not a lot of good thing to say about Uncle Donnie, but I've gotten to the point in my life where politics, I just can't get near it anymore. It's there. I can't find a good person to pay attention to.
And Tom, that's why you talk about Mormon wives and soft swinging instead.
You're absolutely right.
Yes,
soft swinging with Mormon women.
And by the way, I don't know if anyone's been to Utah. They serve dirty soda, where they put so they can't drink caffeine. So they'll serve like root beer or like Sprite and things like that. And they put in cream and they put in like marshmallow and different fruit juices together. And they have these fast food type of dirty soda restaurants all over Utah to sort of cater toward they like sugar a lot because they can't do coffee and caffeine and things like that.
So you can get noggin from the next door neighbor, but you can't drink caffeine.
Isn't that great?
What? Why can't they drink caffeine?
Welcome to the Secret Lives of Mormon Lives, which launches September 6th on Hulu. There's been such a fascination on social media of the Mormon faith. And I really do think that this show might resonate, at least amongst the TikTok generation. I think it's going to be a hit.
Really? You think so?
I do. I mean, aren't you curious about soft swinging? Come on. Listen, never soft swing. So I'm curious.
No, I understand. I understand exactly what you're talking about. There's no question about it.
AJ, I know you're watching.
I'll check out the first episode.
Okay, so it's September 6th. So I guess I think on Monday we'll have to talk about it then. I think if I'm getting my dates right. So
my brother Terry's birthday, September. Oh, it's a matter of fact, Dan Rasmussen, my son-in-law's birthday's today. Happy birthday.
Oh, that's nice. Are you doing cake?
We'll probably won't be invited to anything.
Okay, that sounds
It's
great.
one of those kind of deals. When are you going to come to town? You've been talking about coming to town.
When are you flying me in?
I can take care of that. No problem. It'll be on like a Cessna, but
it's a 4-day flight.
I want a PJ. I only fly PJs. Otherwise, I'm not in.
PJs, yeah. PJs has a completely different meaning from when I was 5 years old. I'll tell you that. Private jet. No, I mean, we should organize it. I just have to work it out in my schedule. So if we want to like do something, let's start looking at calendars and things like that. Maybe I can stay a couple days or whatever. Well, you're not coming here before next summer. I know that. So it's going to be a while. I can't see you coming here.
No, I like the fall. I will come in fall. I will come in spring. I will come in summer. But when do you go to Florida? It has to be before you go to Florida.
No, it's many months away still. We just moved here. So we got to get settled in here and then work it all out. No question about it.
Like maybe October, maybe.
I like it. November. You come in for my birthday.
When's your birthday?
November 7th.
I will come in for your birthday.
Although it's not my birthday anymore because my grandson Ethan stole it. He was born on November 7th, so now it's his birthday.
God.
So I'm going to be storming in on the Barnard family birthday celebration.
Yes, exactly. Hey, what do you mean? Oh my God, he stole my birthday.
I'm sure he did. There's nobody else born November 7th.
Not that I've ever met.
I think you should be honored that your grandson decided to share a birthday with you. He loves you that much.
Come out that Monday, which is the 4th. My birthday's on election day this year.
Yeah, that's right.
And we could just have a big election Tom and Doug birthday extravaganza. Let's move to Canada.
Oh my God. And we'll be arguing politics and I'll be like, let's talk entertainment.
Yes.
Let's talk entertainment. Remember I told you, and I know you got to go, but very quickly. When he started to speak, he for some reason had an Italian accent, and we still don't know what are you doing. I mean, it's like, where did you get that accent? Well, now that accent is gone, and now he's very stern in his speech cadence. Like we had him at the pool the other day, one of the city pools and all that stuff, hanging out, having a good time, and I was teasing him. And he all of a sudden just turns around and looks at me. He's got one of those floaties around his waist. He turns around and looks at me and goes, "Don't do that." And went and jumped in the pool.
No need for a paternity test there.
No,
I mean, that's straight Andy.
That is
It's got to
Andy.
be a flashback for you.
Oh boy, Tom, look at it's all coming back to you. All that karma.
I do love it though. Family is the number one thing on my list. I just love it.
That's amazing.
All right, young lady, we'll see you and talk to you tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow, and I'll see you the first week in November, right?
Works for me.
We'll see if this
Listen,
happens.
Becky.
Bring cake.
And cake.
Well, where do you want to stay?
I don't know. Where am I supposed to stay?
Well, there's a lot of great restaurants. I mean, the
Oh
hotel.
yeah.
You should.
Yeah,
you know,
I
you
want
should
to.
stay?
Where?
You should stay at the the Sheraton now. It used to be Sofitel.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a Sheraton. isn't it?
Bloomington. Yep.
Yeah, I want to like a hip little area since I haven't been back in a while.
One of the greatest restaurants. Sammy runs the whole place. Does a great job. Yeah, you should stay there. It's a
Okay.
good spot.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Don't do that.
I'll do my best.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. One hell of a, she was on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
The
look
big-
what happens when we get to her about the time that she's expecting.
You look like you were going to throw up a couple of times. Stuff
I
she
don't
brought
feel
up.
great today. I'll be honest.
Oh, really? Is
I'm
that what
trying
it
to.
is?
Yeah, I don't know if it was something I ate yesterday, but I have had a struggle this entire show. I'm gonna have to probably get some nausea medicine or something at me.
Would you do me do you have to get going immediately, or could you do one more thing?
I can do one more thing.
Would you look and see how bad that accident was on 394 this morning?
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
God, I hope it wasn't, because the cars were hammered, man. There were like 5 cars that had huge dents in them. I'm hoping nobody was hurt seriously. That would be, but there were ambulances there. There were 2 ambulances there. Took me 53 minutes to get here from Wayzata this morning, Dougie. It was a thrill.
That's terrible.
It's usually 10 minutes, and it was
Yeah.
53 minutes. Oh, by the way, while he's looking it up, nice producer. I call you, you don't bother to answer your phone.
I was pre-producing.
Nope, no excuse.
pre-producing.
I was pre-producing. He comes up with, I was pre-producing. I can't even get a hold of the producer on his phone to tell him I'm going to be late.
Well, Devin can vouch for me because we were getting stuff up. We were working out like, okay, you know, let's get Thomas reads. Let's get all this stuff set to go so that when he does get in from whatever traffic jam we assume you were in.
Right.
And then I see Tevin answer the phone like, oh, no, I know I missed a call.
Yeah, well, you and Catherine. I can call Catherine 5 times a day. She will never answer her phone.
I feel like I'm usually pretty good about that.
Yeah. Oh, and unless it's me. Okay. Well, that makes me feel a lot better.
Wait, is that why you looked at your phone and then put it back down before the show?
Oh, it's Brainerd.
Tall tales.
Andrew Walzer did that to his brother one time, who was right behind him in line at Starbucks.
Oh God!
The
Which
car
brother?
behind me was like,
Well, they have to get
That's
to know
awesome.
his brother. I don't blame him.
well, it's still pretty funny.
Yeah, it is absolutely. We'll move on from there, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to do it for this show. We'll be back in 10 minutes with the family.